Good morning. Welcome to Uni of Bellevue's meditation service. I am Lori Coleman, one of your prayer chaplains at Uni of Bellevue, and I'm grateful to lead the meditation this morning. We welcome all wherever you are on the journey. Whatever your path has been, we welcome you to this practice of meeting in community. And set aside the activity of life and what is happening around us and connect with that divine peace and faith and life of spirit within. So as we're connecting with the divine idea of love and expressing as faith and peace, that divine life is always present within. So we'll be starting with a guided meditation, including about 8 to 10 minutes of silence. And then I will complete the meditation by 10:20. The meditation today is based on daily word writings and also silent unity. I invite you to settle into your chair in receptive pose and gently close your eyes as you take a deep breath. We feel ourselves supported in whatever surface you're sitting and connected with the floor, the ground beneath your feet. Take a slow, deep breath in. Release it slowly. And we know as divine beings in community, allow this process, which is perfect in this moment, present in the now. We connect in perfect peace. And continue taking those slow, deep breaths in and release. Just continue that slow breathing. And let's do a little inventory of focusing first on the face and release and relax the forehead. Relax the muscles of the eyes and the cheeks and the muscles of the jaw, releasing and relaxing. Scan down the back of the head, the back of the neck. And as you continue to breathe in and out, relax the shoulders. And we are moving into the infinite peace that is always within each of us as we continue to relax and release down the torso, relax the pelvis, relax down the legs to the ankles, relax down to feet grounded to the earth. All is peace. All is relaxed. We continue together and recognize the spiritual truth of infinite peace. Peace is the enduring spiritual theme, especially for this time of year, as we move in the Advent calendar and we finish Hanukkah and know the light and life of pure spirit moving through every cell, easing every organ, and feeling the life, the light, and beauty within all. As I breathe in, I am peace now. As I breathe out, I let go and relax. Breathing in, I am peace now. And out, let go and relax. As we're preparing to go into the silence, we continue to breathe in and out. And know that if any thoughts come up at this time of quiet, we bless them and set them aside for later. And all is peace. And know these words as your own. I think and feel and speak the words of life over my being. I speak and think and feel the words of life over my body temple and all the circumstances of my life. I am peace. I relax. As we go into the silence now. Continue to breathe. I am peace now. I let go and relax. I am peace. we are always connected with the divine, and we know that peace reigns in each of our actions, on our journey, and in the awakening faith that dismantles doubt and limitation. We hold the best thoughts for ourselves and others as we move forward to a day, to a week, to a life of peace. And peace is the enduring theme today, as we remember the unity song, "Let There Be Peace on Earth, and let it begin with me. I am peace. I am peace." As we are more awake and alert and open to an idea that we are grateful for life expressing as peace right now, and grateful for being present with others on the journey. And we're so grateful for the technology and the staff and the volunteers who make this connection in person and online possible. And as we open our eyes again to the present and get ready to move into the service, I thank you all for joining us today for this meditation service. We're grateful to meet here for the first time in 2 years at this center, so it's a good thing. And it is an honor and a privilege for the prayer chaplains that are available to stand with you in prayer. If you have a prayer concern, there are a number of resources available. You can email prayerchaplains@uniofbellevue.org for prayer requests. And if you need to talk to somebody, you can let them know by including a phone number with that prayer request to Unity, the uniofbellevue.org website as well, in the prayer section. Another option is to contact Silent Unity Prayer Ministry. Their phone number is on the website, unity.org/prayer. And thank you for joining us for this meditation service. And please join us for the celebration service coming up at 10:30, and also the Q&A session with the board and Reverend Marla after the service. Thank you. Blessings all. Thank you, everyone.
Chimes are ringing out while we're bringing out all our gifts for the season. We hold our loved ones near, but still I hear those chimes ringing out for some reason. Each Christmas time I hear the chimes calling to me, I don't know why. Lights on the tree, choir sing a piece, not like the world out on the street. So what am I really wanting this year? So what am I truly wishing for this year? I wanna see a holy season, warming the homeless who've been freezing, reaching out to every heart that's grieving. That's what's gonna make a holy season. Some Christians say we've lost our way if we say happy holidays. But would Jesus be so naive to tell us words matter more than deeds? So what am I really wanting this year? So what am I truly wishing for this year? I wanna see a holy season, warming the homeless who've been freezing, reaching out to every heart that's grieving. That's what's gonna make a holy season. And then we'll see eye to eye. Our love will be an open sky. And then we'll see eye to eye. Our love will ring like Christmas chimes. I'm gonna spend this holy season warming the homeless who've been freezing, reaching out to every heart that's grieving. That's what's gonna make a holy season. Let's make every season holy. Let's make every season holy.
We're gathered round the tree and we're in unity as a family. Me and you, there's nothing we can't do, 'cause we're in unity with each other. So let your light shine bold, 'cause though the winter's cold, there is warmth with each other. We have warmth with each other's love. You and me, we're gathered round the tree and we're in unity as a family. And me and you, we're gonna see this through, 'cause we have unity with each other. So let your light shine bold, 'cause though the winter's cold, there is warmth with each other. We have warmth with each other's love. Warmth with each other. Warmth with each other's love. You and me.
Come on in, y'all. Have a seat. We're about to do some church. Time to ring the bell. Everybody's so happy to see each other. You can't get them in the sanctuary. And it is a blessing to see you. And I invite you to please stand as you are able and join us in our opening song. This will be familiar to you, A Light in This World.
Good morning, Unity of Bellevue. I'm so grateful to be here with you this morning and grateful for this technology that continues to bring us together. If you are able, please stand and let's sing together. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. Let's know it for each other. You are a light. You are a light. You are a light. You are a light in this world. You are a light. You are a light. You are a light in this world, and you shine, and you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today here at Unity of Bellevue, where we know and we practice the spiritual truth that God is good all the time. We are here to wake up to the spiritual truth of our being, and we are coming together in person for the first time in a year and 9 months to be about that work face to face. And I am so grateful to welcome you into this sacred and holy space that has been waiting for us, has it not? And the ripeness has come, the time has come for this to be our place to be, instead of exclusively online. Now, I want to fill you in on a few things. You may have noticed the sanctuary setup is a little different. We tried to set the rows a little further apart. We have some tables over here that potentially some families could sit up, or you could bring in your coffee and have a sip over there, however you'd like to do that. And families, certainly feel free to bring your children, and they can do some quiet work at those tables until our children's program reopens after the first of the year. Also be aware, yes, we are in person here in our building, but we are also still streaming. And we're streaming a little differently. We are no longer using Zoom. We are streaming directly from our website. You can also log on to our stream from Facebook or from YouTube. And so you could just get your phone out right now and text your good friend and say, get on the website and check out Unity of Bellevue, because it is an awesome place to deepen and grow in spiritual consciousness. Now, we did set some guidelines for coming together in community. The board, we set some criteria for when would this day happen, and we set some criteria once we were clear about that for how would this day happen. So here's the down low on the how. The down low is we are asking you all, unless you are here speaking, we are asking you to wear a mask. Unless you are here singing, we are asking you to wear a mask while you're in the building. Thank you. I see you doing that. I appreciate it. You probably may have also noticed stickers. The sticker system is this, if you're not familiar with it already. If you are wearing a red sticker, basically you're saying, gosh, I love you people so much. I can't wait to be with you, and here I am. And my red sticker means, but give me my space. Okay, I'm doing the 6-foot social distancing thing still. So that's your red sticker. Your yellow sticker, which you'll see I'm sporting one of those, two of those actually, is, I'm really happy to be with you. I love you so much. I'm grateful to be with you in our building. I'm pretty comfortable being close to you all, but let's keep a bit of a physical boundary. Sound good? Your green sticker is like, I'm all in for however much physical contact is appropriate for this space. Which in our context is primarily hugs, right? We're pretty big huggers, aren't we? So your green sticker is like, I'm in for the hugs. So what you get to do is you get to decide what works for you and what you feel good about. I'm personally a yellow sticker, just because that is where I feel really at peace. And so you get to make the choice where you feel most at peace. The third thing that I want you to notice is I'm not wearing a mask. What? How come she gets to not wear a mask? Because I am the goddess of, no, I'm sorry. Because the exception to mask wearing is whoever is on the stage right now. And at this time, we're limiting that to one person at a time. So you will hear one speaker or one singer or one someone unmasked from the stage at any given time. You might have already also noticed we had the beautiful and amazing Laura Berman via video this morning. And we will sometimes have our guest artists be remote, as Laura was this morning, and sometimes we will have them be in person. It just kind of depends on the day. I deeply and powerfully look forward to the day that we have our song leaders up front again. That we have somebody on keys, that we have all the stuff that we used to have. It's coming, because we are going to move through this time. I don't know when it's coming. In about 20 minutes in the message, we're going to talk about waiting well. Okay? I don't know when it's coming, but it is coming. And I also just want to say that your board of trustees has set this criteria and made these decisions really based in the notion that we are a community of love. And, we all might have different levels of comfort or ideas about what's right or what's appropriate. What we want to do is make our space as accessible as possible to as many people as possible. And in some cases, that might call for us to be more cautious than we might normally be. And yet, to be inclusive and to be accessible, we want to err on that side of caution so that everyone can come into our building feeling at least somewhat confident that they do not risk being exposed to COVID-19. So that's why we're doing it the way we're doing it. I invite you to, feel into it and know what's yours to do, and to remember, throughout this whole thing and all of the conversations that we've had about what is the right thing to do in the face of a global pandemic, I have done my best to remain anchored in the mission of the master teacher, Jesus. His mission was love. How can we be as loving and inclusive as possible? So join me in that internal conversation and then living that conversation out into the world. So that's a little bit longer welcome than you typically get. I do want to let you know who is serving you this morning besides me. We also have Laura Berman is our guest artist remotely today. Monica McDowell-Elvig will be with us shortly to let us know what's going on around the center. She is your center administrator. Let's see, who else do we have today? Lori Coleman was our meditation facilitator. Thank you, Lori. It was beautiful. And it was the first time we were streaming our meditation from here in the sanctuary. Come back at 10 o'clock next week. It was really beautiful, and it's lovely to be in this sacred space for the meditation. And then finally, our board host today is someone. It's Susan. Thank you. I knew it was somebody. And so Susan will be with us a little bit later to host our offering and have some words of wisdom for you. So that is what's happening today in terms of our people. We are going to have our affirmation at this time. So let's move from kind of newsy mode into spirit mode, out of the realm of form and into the realm of consciousness. And I will begin with our reading. Today's reading is called Gifts on My Altar. It is by Howard Thurman. And he has this to say: I place these gifts on my altar this Christmas, gifts that are mine as the years are mine. The quiet hopes that flood the earnest cargo of my dreams, the best of all good things for those I love, a fresh new trust for all whose faith is dim, the love of life, God's precious gift in reach of all, seeing in each day the seeds of the morrow, finding in each struggle the strength of renewal, seeking in each person the face of my brother. I place these gifts on my altar this Christmas, gifts that are mine as the years are mine. Howard Thurman from Meditations of the Heart. So just let those gifts rest into your being as I read through our affirmation once. I am grateful for my talents and gifts and effortlessly, I'm going to start that again. I am grateful for my talents and gifts and effortlessly express them in loving service to the world, creating moments of peace and joy everywhere I go. This love that I share always comes back to me, and so it is. Breathe that in, feel it, and accept it. And in that breath of acceptance, I invite you to join me in these words of affirmation out loud and with conviction. I am grateful for my talents and gifts and effortlessly express them in loving service to the world, creating moments of peace and joy everywhere I go. This love that I share always comes back to me, and so it is.
Just when I take a step outside, the rain, it catches me with no warning. Right before liftoff, what was once light and airy can't catch my breath. Poor sweet canary, for the weight on my body. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside. Bring me to a new divide, and I will grow to know a better me. And this time I will lift off and fly. I will lift off and fly. Just when I take a step outside, all around I see the empty spaces. No matter how many times on this flight I can barely get the height. Now I want to soar with clean traces. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside. Bring me to a new divide, and I will grow to know a better me, a better me. And this time I will lift off and fly. I will lift off and fly. Me and the time, we make quite a pair, and it's a solo flight with the wind in my hair. There's a quiet line between me and the air, and I like it here. Yes, I do. Oh, I like it here. I like it here. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside. Bring me to a new divide. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside. Bring me to a new divide, and I will grow to know a better me, a better me. And this time
Let's give Laura some remote love. She is a powerful friend of this community, and I will grow to know a better me. And that's the power of that song for me. Perhaps there's a different idea of power in that song for you, but for me, what really anchors me is I will grow to know a better me. How many of you have changed at all in the last year and a half? I kind of feel like I'm growing to know a better me, you know? And I thought I was a pretty good me a year and a half ago, and I was, right? But we have the opportunity every single day to step into a greater awareness of who we are, what we belong to, and why we're here. And what we teach here at Unity is that we are here to deepen and grow in our spiritual understanding of our oneness with the infinite. That's what we're about. There is only one thing happening. Call it God, call it energy, call it life, call it Buddha, call it whatever you want to call it. There is only one infinite energetic that is unfolding as all of creation, and so it is unfolding as you. And it is unfolding as me. And the more that I can step into that awareness, I grow to know a better me. A more awake, alert, aware expression of the divinity that I am. Now, some of you may not know that today is the second Sunday in Advent. Merry Christmas, everyone. Advent is the season of preparation for the birth of, in the story, the Christ child, Jesus. It's so cool to me that the story refers to Jesus, the human, the man, the baby boy, Jesus. We talk about the story as the birth of the Christ child. Because that's what Advent is all about. It is about preparing for the birth of the Christ consciousness, that awakened state that is the better me, that awakened state that is calling me to a greater awareness of my oneness with the infinite. It is the birth of that we are preparing for during this Advent season. Now, I'm going to tell you something that I tell you every year at Advent. So you've heard this if you've been around. If you haven't been around, you haven't heard this, which is why I need to say it every year. I'm going to tell you about the word Advent. Advent is rooted in the Latin adventus. Ad means turning toward. Vent, venir, means to come. And tus is an action suffix. It means it's action. We are actually taking the action of turning toward what is to come. That's what it literally means. And so in Advent, we are preparing for the birth of the Christ consciousness. We are turning toward the birth of the thing that is yet to come. And yet, it is always being born in us every moment because we are awakening to the spiritual truth of our being more and more all the time. The Christ consciousness, the Christ, let me think, where was I? The consciousness of the Christ, the embodiment of that consciousness is what we are preparing for and what is being birthed in us and through us, symbolically celebrated as Christmas Day, the birth of Jesus, who was not born on December 25th. We don't know when he was born. It probably wasn't December 25th. There's a 1 in 365 chance that it was on December 25th. And I'm thinking it probably was not. But here's what he represents. Jesus was called the Messiah. And back in the book of Isaiah, there was a prediction that the Messiah would be born. The Messiah was the king, the savior, the consecrated one, the anointed one. The one that would lead the Hebrew people to freedom. And I love that Messiah, it means anointed, consecrated. Do you know that when something is consecrated, it is made holy? That's what it means, to consecrate something. When we speak a word of blessing on our offering, we are making it holy. To consecrate something to the good works of this center, which I say almost every week, is to make it holy, to make it sacred. That's why we bless. That's why we have christenings. We are saying, we see the God in you. We see the Messiah in you. We see the wholeness in you. We see the holiness in you. To consecrate something is to make it holy. And what a gift that the consecrated one, the anointed one, is birthing itself in just a few weeks. Symbolically, reminding us once a year that our spiritual journey is about birthing that consciousness every single day. And I hate to say this, in my case, sometimes every single moment, because sometimes I have a hard time remembering that this is what I'm about. Anybody else? Am I by myself here? I don't think I am. I'd be surprised if I am. And so what we are really about is awakening to the gift that's already been given. That consciousness has already been born, hasn't it? It already exists. It exists in the infinite consciousness that we call God. It already is. It's already been given to us. The thing that we are about is awakening to it, becoming present to it, becoming alert to it. The spiritual journey is about embodying and realizing, internalizing that consciousness of oneness, that consciousness of truth. And here's how we know, if you will, from more traditional teachings, that this is what seems to be our path. The Father within me does the work. See, Jesus didn't do the work. The divinity that he was, and he used the word Father, but, we know that God is beyond gender, right? Because it's an energy, it's an essence, it's a presence, it's an idea, it's an infinite beingness. And that infinite beingness, that energy, that presence within me does the work. When I consciously embody that infinite presence, it realizes itself in form in my experience of life. That was one of Jesus' teachings. The Father, Mother, God within me is what actually executes in the world. That's what's really going on. Of myself, I can do nothing. The consciousness, the consecrated Christed consciousness is what does the work. And then he taught us, greater things than these will you do. Somebody's like, oh, Jesus, you're so amazing. You're such a great healer. What a guy. What a guy. No. Greater things than these will you do as you embody that same consciousness. As you internalize and realize that consciousness of oneness, as you do your Advent work and turn toward that which has already been given, the gift. And then later, Paul wrote in one of his letters, let this mind be in you that was in Christ Jesus. Let this mind, let this consciousness be in you that was in the Christ. Do you see, this is our assignment, to let this mind be in us, to allow the divinity within to do the work, to do greater things, because we are willing to wake up to the truth of our being, to turn toward that consecrated way of being, to make holy in our lives every thought, every word, every deed, to consecrate it to the good work. This is the gift we are waiting for, people. Stop waiting. Because it's already here. It already is, and I think sometimes we say things like, well, you know what, when I get the right job, then my soul can be peaceful, then I can accept the gift. When I meet the right person, when I finally get married, it's going to be okay, I can be happy. When this happens, when that happens, when justice happens, then I can be at peace. Well, okay. If you want to wait, okay. Or you can be an embodiment of peace right now. The thing that you think will complete you will not complete you. Because the thing that will complete you is not a thing. It's a way of being. It's a consciousness. It's a way of embodying the allness and the fullness of God. You see, this gift has already been given. Have we accepted the gift? Anybody ever tried to give you something and you're like, oh, pshaw. Oh, no. You know? Oh, it's okay. Or anybody ever try and give you a compliment? You know? It's like, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, no. Me, I just did this. You know, it's like, Have we accepted the gift that has already been given? And here's the thing. Even though the gift has already been given, embodying the gift can still feel like waiting. You know what I'm saying? It can still have the human experience of, well, it isn't making itself known out there yet. So I'm doing all that I can do to be in a certain way of being, a certain way of thinking. And yet, it's not there. What? It hasn't made itself known yet. The key is that when the consciousness has not yet outpictured in our experience of life, we have to wait in a certain way. There's two ways we can wait. Aimless, disappointed, uncertain, and my aimless and my disappointed and my uncertain ways of being as I wait for the manifestation of the Christ consciousness in the world robs me of the gift. Right? And not only does it rob me of the gift, it drives certain behaviors in the world. When I'm feeling aimless and uncertain, when I'm feeling disappointed, I do things in the world that are not necessarily life-affirming. How about you? Oh, I'm going to just sleep. I'm going to turn on the TV. I'm going to, it's like I'm going to do things that are not necessarily life-affirming for me. Out of this feeling of disappointment, uncertainty, aimlessness, not knowing, I did my prayers, come on. Sometimes we get mad at God. Like, really? Really? I'm just opening my building for the first time in 1 year and 9 months. And Omicron? Are you kidding me, God? Like, really? Whatever. And that's a certain way of being. That's a certain way of waiting for the manifestation of the consciousness that I am already embodying, and it robs me of that consciousness. I backslide, right? I backslide. So I don't know about you. Sometimes I meditate, I get really up in a high place, and I'm good. And then the phone rings with something. Oh, man, never mind. That's new thought backsliding, right? The way of waiting that is actually life-affirming and productive and allows us to stay in that consciousness is to be in partnership, is to recognize we are in partnership with the divine. It has already given the gift. As I walk in partnership with the divine idea, with the divine energy, wait a minute, what was that again? As I seek first the kingdom, all else is added unto me. As I turn toward the consciousness, as I turn toward the Christ beingness that is already within me, all else is added unto me. And that particular way of waiting and being present to the process is being in partnership with God, because we live in a realm of form, don't we? In the realm of spirit, manifestation is instantaneous because the realm of spirit is energy, it's an idea. In the realm of form, it takes 9 months to make a baby, just saying. In the realm of form, it takes 40 years to grow a cool oak tree. That's how long it takes. And when we plant the seed in consciousness, when we embody the Christed consciousness, when we turn toward the thing, we have to give it its time to ripen. Have you ever eaten a green apple before its time? It's not a great experience. It's sour and it gives you a tummy ache. You can do it. We are free human beings. We can do it, but if we try and pluck something from life before it is ripe, it's not going to serve us very well. And so we have to let the oak tree grow. We have to let the baby develop. We have to let the apple redden up. And so, as we prepare for the manifestation of the Christ consciousness in us, we have to recognize it takes some time for it to move through us. Here in the realm of form, things happen in God's time. Sometimes God's time just really irritates the holy heck out of me. And yet, God's time is God's time. I mean, have you ever waited for something and you didn't get what you wanted? I hate that part. But you know why you didn't get what you wanted? God's time, it's not ripe yet. It's not ripe yet. We're talking about God's time, not my time, right? My limited human idea of time is a whole different thing from the expansive consciousness that has always existed, will always exist. Things ripen in their right time. One of two things is happening. When I do not embody in the realm of form, when I do not manifest in the realm of form what I am embodying in consciousness, one of two things has happened. Either I'm not really prepared in consciousness, I just think I am, or there's a gateway to something greater that is making itself known. It's just ripening up, and this, what would seem like a denial, is a gateway to something greater. And when I can be in the gift of the consciousness of the infinite and know that, I'm standing on the gateway of something greater, and I'm just not quite prepped in consciousness yet. That's okay. Instead of getting mad at God, instead of backsliding into fear and doubt and disappointment and uncertainty, I just stay on the conscious path. It's going to feel better, you guys. You're just going to feel better as we stay in the gift. And so we can ask ourselves a couple of questions like, how am I waiting for God? That's a really good question. From what place am I waiting for the manifestation of my good? From what consciousness am I waiting? Am I really turning toward the consciousness of the Christ? Am I really making myself available to the divine idea? Am I fully prepped in consciousness? Or do I just need to do more work, more prayer, more meditation, more community building, more whatever it is, more service, whatever the spiritual practice is that I need to be about? Apparently, I need to do more of that. Am I waiting in a mind of uncertainty and fear and doubt? Or am I waiting knowing it's just not quite God's time? The apple is still kind of green. The oak is still an acorn. It's just not quite time. So how am I waiting? Is a really great question. From what consciousness am I waiting? Fear, doubt, uncertainty, or confidence and conviction that Christed consciousness is birthing itself in me all the time. The gift is already given, and I continue to do the work. And that leads us into our second question we get to ask is, how is God waiting for me? Did you hear that? Because God meets us where we are. Right here. And if I want to expand my experience of life into something greater, as I embody that consciousness, God will meet me there. And then God will meet me there. And then God will meet me there. And then it'll meet me there. And so in what ways am I not being the place where God can show up, where I want God to show up? You can't get the difference? So it's going to meet me exactly where I am. You've heard me say this, Emma Curtis Hopkins' teaching, if you want to know what you believe, look at your results. Look at what's happening. That will tell you where you are in consciousness. And so we just recognize that somehow God is waiting for me. If the thing that I say I am about is not making itself known, have I really turned toward that consciousness such that God can meet me where I wish to be met? Oh, yeah. And then from that place, we move into doers of a beingness, of a certain type of beingness. Because from this place of faith and confidence, we behave differently in the world, right? Uncertainty, fear, doubt, television, slopping around the house, and whatever it is that you do. But from this place of faith and conviction, and knowing that, I'm just doing the preparation. I am preparing for the birth of the consciousness that brings into my experience what it is that is mine to be and do and have. I be in a certain way. And that creates the behaviors in the world that facilitate the manifestation of the good. Like, I'm going to pray, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to love, I'm going to serve. I'm going to be the kind of person that God will meet exactly where I want to be. Now, I want to tell you about an experience that I had this week that was really relevant to this whole conversation we're having today. And not only did I have this experience, your entire board of trustees had this experience. We have communicated to y'all that I'm retiring at the end of this year. And we have also communicated to you all that we have an interim minister who's available, we believed, to start in January. And we learned in a meeting on Wednesday that that is not the case. That the interim minister that we believed was all ours in January is actually not available in January, is still very much available to serve us, but is not available to step into our minister's role in January. And I got to tell you, we were on a Zoom meeting, and I wish you could have been there because the looks on our faces. Uncertainty, yes. Like the immediate response was that sense of disappointment, fear, doubt, uncertainty. I was looking around our little Zoom meeting, and everybody was kind of like, and, that's a way of being, right? And oftentimes it is our initial response. And it certainly was our initial response in that moment because it was a real surprise, I think, to your board. I'll say more about that at the Q&A if it comes up. But anyway, I think it was a real surprise. But you know what? By the end of that meeting, because of the careful support and the big consciousness, your board of trustees is committed to turning toward that big consciousness, right? And because of the loving support of the person we were in conversation with around this, and because of who we are, and because of the consciousness we are doing our best to cultivate here at Unity, by the end of the meeting, we were kind of getting back into that way of being, right? And by the next day, man, I'm fully grounded back and I'm good. It doesn't mean I know what to do. Do you hear that? And this is why I'm telling you this morning. Right now, we don't know what's going to happen in January. We thought we had a plan. In fact, we had a plan. It's just not a plan that's going to execute now. Something is going to execute for this community in January. I know it. I don't know what it is yet. But what I invite us all to do is turn toward that consciousness of completeness, of oneness, of unity, to anchor in the spiritual truth of our being individually and collectively as a community, that we have an opportunity to embody a divine idea, a Christ consciousness collectively together for the highest good of this beautiful center, this beautiful spiritual community. We have an opportunity to turn toward a bigger idea and away from that uncertainty and, oh my God, what's going to happen now? I mean, this could be like a source of a lot of drama for us. You want to make it about the drama? We could be doing all kind of conversations before we even leave this building. We could choose that. And that is way number one of waiting. It is the way of waiting that is anchored in the human experience of fear and doubt. And our opportunity here is to lift ourselves into a divine idea of provision and awareness and oneness, and knowing that the gift is already given. We just have some more preparation to do in consciousness. We just have a little more work to do such that the path makes itself known. And it will happen when it's ripe. Because we don't want no green apples. They don't taste good and they make us sick. We want an outcome for this community that is nourishing and loving and supportive. That's what we want. Let's be in the consciousness with that divine idea right now. And so here is what I do know, which isn't much. What I do know is that life is lived in increments. We live today, and then we live the next day, and we take in today's information today, and we take in tomorrow's information tomorrow. And as we take in that information, and as we sit with it in prayer and in the Christ consciousness, as we prepare for the birth of that new thing, all else is added unto us. The new thing has to be born. I got to tell you, I've got, between Patty and I have 19 nieces and nephews. And more than once have I heard a sister or sister-in-law say, yeah, the thing about getting pregnant is that baby's got to come out. I'm a little scared about that part, right? The baby will be born. Our right next step has to be born. That baby has to come out. It will be born. And it will be born in a way that is life-affirming and serves this community to the degree that we are willing to be present to the divine idea for this community. And so I'm inviting you into that awareness, into that consciousness, because here really are the gifts. When I say the gift of the consciousness has already been given, yes, that's true. In a really abstract, yes, the infinite, energetic consciousness of the universal presence it's already been given me. That's really true. All I need to do is accept it and step into it. But more practical for my everyday living is to recognize that the gift that has actually been given is the gift of peace and the gift of joy and the gift of love. Because as I align with that infinite divine consciousness, I feel that peace that passes understanding descend on me. And suddenly I can wait in a new way for the green apple to ripen. As I anchor in the consciousness of the one who said, the Father within me does the work. Oh, that's right. I don't have to do anything. I have to be something. That's the gift of peace Greater things than these will you do. Let this mind be in you. Oh, gosh, when I let the Christ mind be in me, there's no worries here. There's nothing to freak out about. We just have to be present and wait in a particular way because life is lived in increments. And as we get more information, more potential and more possibility is revealed. And this is the true gift that's been given, the gift of peace, the gift of love. And ultimately, don't those just make us feel so joy-filled? And I don't mean joy like falling over laughing joy, which is cool. But I mean that deep contentment that rests in your belly and you feel a greater sense of joy because you know who you are and what you belong to. So that's what I invite us into. Let's turn within and do a little spiritual practice around all of this right now. Breathe with me as we seal this message in a consciousness of the gift that's already been given. For we know the spiritual truth of our oneness. With the infinite, we know that there is only one power, one presence. One infinite mind and heart of God. It is the Christ consciousness. It is the beingness that Jesus so powerfully embodied as he walked his own spiritual journey here on planet Earth. And we breathe in and we recognize and we remember the spiritual truth of us. For we know who we are and what we belong to. We belong to God. And we simply feel ourselves expanding in our conscious awareness of this truth. And we breathe it in. We know it. We recognize it. And we simply wake up more fully than we ever have before to the very truth of our being as we turn toward the consciousness, the birth of the Christ in us. And we allow our minds to be eased as we embody in this consciousness the perfect divine right outcome. In our leadership of our beloved center, we know that the universe is an endless source. Provision already made, gifts already given, divine flow already happening, and we simply align ourselves in conscious awareness with this flow. And we allow ourselves to step into a greater idea of potential and possibility for this beloved community. And from this place of availability, of openness, of potential, we do not envision any particular outcome other than infinite good for all concerned. And in this awareness, we recognize a certain way of being in the world. And a gift already given of peace, of love, of acceptance, of joy. And from this place and in this consciousness, we know all has already been given. We walk in happy confidence that it is well done in the mind of God. It is well done in our own minds. And so it cannot help but ripen and manifest in our experience of life. I give thanks for this perfect experience. I give thanks for the beloveds of this community that hold the divine idea, the divine potential for who we are. I give thanks for the presence of infinite provision and infinite beingness, and I know that we live from this place. And so it's in this awareness, in this consciousness, this Christed self, that I close this message grateful, knowing it is done, and so it is. Amen.
from the darkest place to a higher space, calling from every direction. On every single path I have stood strong and cowered fast. What a strange perception. Well, life is demanding, but I am understanding. The best I could was where I stood for a higher good and a greater truth. Where once it was covered, well, now I have proof. There's a bigger lesson, one I never expected, rising up from misunderstood, a higher good. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm always getting ready on steps that are so unsteady, dancing the same old dances. Oh, well, I'm never really sure how to fit myself through the door. Well, it's all part of taking chances. Well, life is demanding, but I am understanding. The best I could is where I stood for a higher good and a greater truth. Where once it was covered, well, now I have proof. There's a bigger lesson, one I never expected, rising up from misunderstood. Well, I've seen the road at ground level, yeah. There's a wider view, well, there's a much wider view, and it brings me home to revel on this fine, fine, fine days, fine day for higher good and greater truth. Where once it was covered, oh, now I have proof. There's a bigger lesson, one I never expected. Oh, rising up, I am rising up from misunderstood. A higher good, higher good, higher good.
Can I take this off? Good morning. Wow. It is so good to look out and see all of those faces and to know that there are people online joining us as well. So I'm Susan Neidig. I'm your board president. I'm here as your board host. Before I get to the offering, though, I would like to reiterate that this has been a week of challenging all of our spiritual practice on the board. I want to assure you that we're standing and resting in this situation. we have faith, and we're tying up our camel. So we know that we are on the verge, or in front of us is a gateway to something great, and that God will deliver, and we will have the best and right outcome for our center. In the meantime, we are going to make sure that there is no huge gap in service between Rev Marla and whatever presents itself. I won't say an interim minister because that might not be the outcome, but your board will be standing by to make sure that we continue in this center, and that we continue to wait and be ready for what is in front of us. The one gift that I ask from you is that you continue in your spiritual practice and you hold this center in the highest of consciousness for the best and right outcome. And as we all pray, as we meditate on this, we know that it is already here and it is delivered to us. This is the point in our service when we talk about our financial gifts to this center, and we bring those forward, or actually we drop them on the way out. As we leave, Ken is doing a Miss Vanna thing. It's right there by the door. For those of you that are new to our center, if you're here in person, there are connection cards in the back of the seats. We only ask that you fill one of those out so that we can stay in touch with you and know how best to serve you. For those online who are new to our center, you can go to unityofbellevue.org and you can click on Connect, I think, or Contact, and there's a form and you could fill that out and let us know how we can best serve you. For those of us that call this our spiritual center, giving is a spiritual practice that we engage in, and we engage in that because we believe in the vision and the mission of this center, awakening people to their spiritual nature and transforming the world. So in that consciousness, I'd like you to join me in our offering affirmation. Together, I give freely, and for the joy of giving, I know that seeds sown in love produce an overflowing harvest of good for me, for this center, and for all people. Lovingly I give, joyfully I receive, and so it is. Thank you.
And so we simply speak a word of blessing on these gifts that are to be given as you leave this sacred and holy sanctuary. I consecrate these gifts to the good use of this center as we make a powerful difference in the world. We transform this money into ministry. We are a blessing and we are blessed. I am so very, very grateful, and so it is. Amen.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Bellevue. My name is Monica McDowell-Elvig. I'm your center administrator. It's lovely to be here and to see you. Thank you. If you are joining us for the first time, we extend an extra warm welcome to you. We open our hearts to you, and we invite you to open sacred gifts that we have at Unity of Bellevue. We know that you have sacred gifts, and we'd like to discover them with you. And if you are online, you can go to our website, unityofbellevue.org. And even if you're in person, if you go to our website when you get home or on your phone, at the bottom of every page is a sign-up form for our weekly e-newsletter. That's the best way to stay in touch while we are in person and online. Several of our groups are still completely online, so that's the best way to stay in touch with all of the news. We look forward to hearing from you. This Sunday, right after service, we have Q&A. That's your chance to ask questions of our board. That's going to be in the library. If you have any questions about the transition, about our policies, our principles, or practices, you can join us. Just it'll be a few minutes break, and then that'll start. Today we have our holiday open house, so feel free to do some holiday shopping. Several of you already have. Thank you so much. We also have giving trees this year. The tall one is for the Sophia Way. There's an item list out in the sanctuary and online if you would like to bring things for the women that the Sophia Way serves. We also have a giving tree for Eastside Baby Corner, so if you want to bring toys unwrapped, we welcome those at the other tree. Tomorrow night, we have Sisters in Spirit online. It might be the last one with Reverend Marla. We'll have to see. But that's at 6:30 online. Zoom link is on our website. That's Women Supporting Women on the Spiritual Journey. Living What Matters meets this Wednesday at 1 p.m. again online. We are almost through the Book of Soul by Mark Nepo. And we are learning a new spiritual practice each week. That's a free drop-in group. Everyone is welcome. Again, Zoom link on the website. And the men's group meets online this Saturday at 8:30. So join them if you would like some fellowship and spiritual discussion. Zoom link is on the website. Have a great week, and I will see you next Sunday.
Thank you, Monica, and thank you all for joining us today. It is a special day in the life of this community, and I am so grateful that you said yes, whether you're joining us in person or online. And I am grateful for the loving consciousness you bring to the next step in this spiritual community's evolution. Meantime, go shopping, and you might want to check out my Christmas Spice brown butter oatmeal cookies. They're pre-packaged for you to gift, and they're wrapped in plastic in there, so they'll stay good for a while. Get out there. We're raising money for Unity of Bellevue today. I really appreciate your support by doing some of your Christmas shopping here today. Let's stand and close with the peace song. Yay!
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
When I think about Christmas, I think of snowflakes and sleigh bells, holiday carols, but more importantly, let's change this world. Let's change this world. Let's change this world together. Let's change this world. Let's change this world. Let's change this world together. And I know that it begins with me. And I know that it all begins with you. Let's change this world. Let's change this world. Let's change this world together. And I know that it begins with me. And I know that Let's change this world together. Let's change this world. Let's change this world. Let's change this world together. Snowflakes and sleigh bells, holiday carols, but more importantly, let's change this world. Let's change this world. Let's change this world together.